Hey everybody, welcome back to LPD TV. I'm Lyle, and I want to say thanks to anybody who tunes in and watches my channel. I'm just having a lot of fun learning how to do this and playing around with YouTube. And I'm out here again, out at Dave's Man Cave here. Yeah, we got our bikes in front to kind of give us a little something to look at. But I wanted to say,
mine.
Yeah,
That's his.
Exactly, yeah. But I wanted to say first, just give a little shout out to a couple of the places that I like to shop at, because the last couple of videos I put up, I forgot to mention them, and that's not like me, but it kind of is. Lens are us. If you need sunglasses, if you need eyeglasses, if you need eye care of any kind, go check them out. They're in Vancouver and Lower Mainland. Great service, friendly staff, all kinds of product to check out. You'll find what you need there, and they'll hook you up. Another place I like to go for shirts is a place called Sasso Moda. They're in Vancouver. Again, friendly staff, all kinds of great stuff inside the store to check out. Go check them out, hit them up. Normally I'm wearing their shirts, but today actually I'm wearing Dream Cycle Motorcycle Museum t-shirt. A buddy of mine has the museum there, and I thought maybe I'd give them a little shout out because lately they've actually become the Western Canadian dealer, I guess, or I shouldn't say dealer, source for iconicmotorbikes.com. So if you're looking on the auction sites for any of these old bikes, that definitely, they're worth saving, eh?
Gotta save the old bikes.
Gotta save the old bikes.
Not all of them, but the nice ones.
Yeah, they're beautiful. So check them out. iconicmotorbikes.com. Dream Cycle Motorcycle Museum. If you're in Canada, British Columbia, Sorrento, go check them out, man. They got all kinds of stuff. They're beautiful bikes dating back to like early 1900s. Very cool place. So let's talk about MotoGP, man. This is why we're here.
Yeah.
So
round 5.
Yeah, round 5. Yeah. So Le Mans, French GP.
Yeah.
So give me your. Let's start us off, man.
Well, it was nonstop. It was
another epic race.
Another epic.
Yeah.
MotoGP race.
Yeah.
It was from the sprint all over the weekend.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
Right.
There was a threat of rain, but it never came.
Okay.
Which was good.
Yeah.
Watched the first practice.
Right.
And they got settled in pretty quick, the bikes. And then the Ducatis looked really good again.
Yeah.
Marquez looked good. Then Jorge and Martin looked great.
Yeah.
Bagnaia had a few problems. It's the same story. At the beginning of the weekend, he struggles.
Yeah.
And then they get around the struggle and set the bike up for the race.
They get her dialed in.
They get dialed in. That's usually what happens. And then he had a disastrous second practice where he crashed the number 1 bike.
Right.
Bagnaia.
Okay.
And that kind of screwed everything up for the whole week, for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah.
He was never comfortable on the number 2 bike.
Right.
And in the sprint, he actually gave up.
Really?
On lap 2.
Okay.
The sprints.
Just wasn't feeling it.
No, wasn't. There was the number 2 bike wasn't quite ready, and the littlest sensitive thing puts them off, these riders. So
right.
That's up for the Team Ducati. Bastianini didn't really fare much better.
Right.
His teammate Jorge Martin took off. Marquez rode a good sprint.
Yeah.
He came from 13th place, qualified on the grid, and he made it, man. It was a great race for him.
Wow. That was in the sprint?
That was in the sprint, yeah.
Wow.
And so Jorge won the sprint. Yeah.
Another sprint for Jorge.
Another sprint for Jorge.
Man, he's just killing it.
He got pole position as well.
Very cool.
So get to Sunday.
Yeah. And
same thing, everyone got off quite well, but they started strong, like fighting strong right away.
Yeah.
And there was crashes in the beginning. couple of really bad crashes that could have been terrible. Like Pedro Acosta crashed
I seen that. Yeah,
in between the two bikes on lap 2.
right.
He just didn't take them out. He went right between the two bikes, like with inches to spare.
Yeah,
And
so lucky
it was
there.
so lucky. Yeah. Jorge was second on the start, and he got passed by Pecco Bagnaia.
Yeah,
And Pecco took off, and Jorge took off with Pecco Bagnaia, and the pair of them took off into the distance, and the rest of the
Right.
bikes were chasing.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And they were jousting up front for quite a while.
and then everyone was battling. There was crashes. There was
exciting.
It was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Marquez came right up again from 13th spot.
I think
He rode a great race again.
We got to about maybe 6 laps left or 7, something like that.
It was about 8 laps left
8 laps?
when he was catching Martin and Pecco Bagnaia.
Yeah,
About half a second a lap.
he was just like.
But they were fighting. They started fighting with each other with about 7 laps to go.
Yeah,
and Marquez came within, I would say, like half a second.
Yeah,
with about 5 laps to go, and then Jorge Martin just took off.
Right.
He overtook Bagnaia. He took off, and then Marquez overtook Bagnaia on the last lap.
Yeah,
and got second.
How exciting was that?
It was really good. Really good race.
It was amazing.
Really exciting.
Yeah.
He managed the tires really well, Marquez. He was the best one all weekend on managing the tires.
Yeah.
And it really showed. That's his experience. He still didn't feel the bike that well in the practice 1 and practice 2.
Right.
Because he didn't make Q1.
Right.
Or Q2, sorry. He was in Q1 and then didn't make it, and he ended up in 13th spot.
Right.
Because of that.
Yeah. I think
qualifying.
Near the end there, I don't know how Pecca could stay with him because I'm sure his tires there was nothing.
Well, he pushed from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Bagnaia, and I think he used up.
Well, him and Jorge fighting at the front there for so many rounds, I think.
Yeah.
Must have really chewed up their tires. So.
Well, I want to say something about the tires.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it for a while, and I'm not a big fan of the way Michelin are handling, the MotoGP tires. And, I'm not a tire engineer, but from a guy like me who watches it, a lot, studies it.
Yeah.
They got to make a tire for the lower ambient temperature. I think MotoGP, and I see this in Formula One, the climate's swing in temperature over a weekend could be 10, 15 degrees,
depending on where
it just happened. It just happened in the F1 race. It happened in Miami. It just happened in Imola in Italy this weekend.
Yeah,
and
it has such an impact on how the tire is performing on the track.
Well, it's the riders rely on. That's the only thing the riders rely on. Everyone talks about the performance of the bikes, but the bikes are only as good as the tires.
Right.
And my problem is with Michelin is that they always seem to be behind the 8 ball when the temperature drops like 10, 15 degrees, usually 10 centigrade ambient, which drops the track temperature ambient to about 30. Well, 30 degrees track temperature centigrade is where that's the limit of the MotoGP tire. If it goes any colder, the tire they start crashing.
Right.
And I saw it at Le Mans. Right. Because that weather wasn't very good all weekend. It was cloudy. It was a low ambient temperature, a low track temperature. It was hot for maybe an hour on Friday.
Right.
And then Sunday came, and all the race engineers were like, "Oh crap! The temperature has dropped a bit low for the tires." Well, I'm thinking, why doesn't Michelin make a tire? I know it's going to cost more money. I understand that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you got to think of the damage, of the cost of the bikes, the cost of the riders if they get hurt. Surely someone hasn't come up with like a low temperature MotoGP tire.
Right.
Keep the construction the same. They've got to be really heavy construction for the heavy braking area.
Yeah.
Which Le Mans was a heavy braking area.
Yeah.
But you've got to make those tires warm up quicker in cold temperatures.
Right.
You're not going to use them maybe 20% of the year. But when they do need them, they need them.
Yeah.
And to have to deal with, not only the weather, but the cold, and not all these tracks, some of them, the isometric tire is softer on one side than the other. There's that.
Right.
But even that, some of that construction's not soft enough for the cold temperatures.
Right.
So I just think that the tire manufacturers just have to look at the fact that everyone's experiencing climate change, huge swings during what you think is going to be a warm weekend.
Right.
And a front can come in, a weather front, and drop the temperature like a brick.
Yeah.
And I've seen it in Formula 1, I've seen it in MotoGP now, and I just don't think that's acceptable for a prototype, number one prototype motorsport.
Yeah.
And like I said, I see it in Formula 1 as well.
Cutting edge.
There's the window, when the temperature goes down, the tire window goes from this to this.
Yeah.
And then it makes the engineers nervous, it makes the riders nervous.
Yeah.
It doesn't come across to us, to me anyway.
Yeah.
As a fan, I'm nervous for the riders now. Now I'm anxious.
Yeah.
So I just think it's something that I don't know why people are not talking about that more in the sport, as a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting point.
Yeah. Second point I'd like to make is
Sure.
it's going to be a really interesting June, July in the MotoGP sport.
Okay.
A lot of deals and a lot of contract signings going to happen coming up.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about Marc Marquez. Not my favorite subject.
It's going to get silly season.
Let's talk about Marc Marquez.
Okay.
Not my favorite subject.
For a minute, yeah.
So here's the thing. I'm a big Ducati fan.
Sure.
And Ferrari fan.
Yeah.
So I hear the chatter on MotoGP with Simon Crafard and Matt Burt on the Friday practice. And I just couldn't believe my ears when they would actually they would already say they would sign, Ducati factory team should sign Marquez.
Right.
And after Jorge Martin, what he's done last year and this year, they should have signed him like last week. I can't believe these people are actually talking. And I hear other chatter like Marquez is the show. Well, for me, the show is what's on the track. He's a showman after the race when he's laughing with the crowd and everything. But I think that's a low bar to set for Ducati team to sign Marquez just because he's a showman. And the other riders are a bit more serious. But you look at Jorge Martin, he should have had that ride signed a month ago.
Yeah.
And after last weekend, he won the sprint, pole position, and the race.
Well, I think obviously the longer they wait, the tougher the decision, the more it probably puts the value of Jorge up. The longer they wait as well for other teams to want to get involved.
If I was Gigi Dall'Igna, like I'm watching the weekends go by, and every time Jorge Martin either sets pole position, wins another sprint, wins another race, they just add another couple of million euros to the bill.
Yeah,
I just don't see the sense in it.
But you got to keep in mind.
Well, you get these Marquez, fanboys like.
Hey man, I'm one of them. But you know what?
You think they should get the Ducati factory?
How many championships does he have? Right?
That's all water under the bridge, man. It's all game over. Yeah, it's all old.
But the point is,
the bikes are different.
He's not just a showman off the bike and laughing with the crowds.
Well, for them to say he's the show, he's not. He's not the show. He's not. Jorge Martin right now. If anyone's going to be the show, it's Jorge Martin.
I think that Marquez
and Bagnaia is a close second because he won the MotoGP back to back. Don't forget Bagnaia.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's just my personal opinion.
I think that for Marquez to get on that bike and as many GPs as he's got under his belt on the 23 Ducati, he's got gunpowder under his shoes, man. He's caught onto that bike. And he's like,
well, he's going to blow himself up.
The last two races, he's come second, right? So he's right there, man. I think he's in the talking, but I definitely agree. I think Jorge has earned that spot in the factory team. That's my opinion.
Jorge Martin is 1,000% earned the factory Ducati ride in 2025.
Yeah,
1,000%.
I think I agree there. But
I hope Simon Crafar hears this somehow.
But I kind of almost wonder, though, you know, Bagnaia, like, yeah, he's got 2 championships under his belt with them, but this season he hasn't come out guns a-blazing. He really has he's struggled a bit. Don't you think?
I'm still open I have an open mind on that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think he's struggled a little bit. And I don't know why. Maybe it's the tires for whatever reason, or who knows, but he's just not he's not on it like he has been, you know, in the past seasons. But
yeah. You know, what you think of the future? Like, how's it gonna go?
In what way?
Well, I told you what about the Martin wanting to, like, he wants the factory bike, he should deserve it 1,000%.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think that they probably should sign him. Why not?
Yeah.
He's earned it, man. Look at how much farther ahead he already is this year from last year. And he was ready for it last year.
Yeah.
So I think he
put on a good effort last year.
I think he's earned it.
He gave everything. He gave everything to win last year, and he almost did.
So now
there was one crash that put him behind.
So just hypothetically, what if we go that route and we put Jorge in with the factory team? What happens to Bastianini? Where does he go?
This is the intriguing part about July, because Primark are now, I hear, talking to Yamaha.
I've heard that too,
and that just floors me. I just
why would they do that?
I'm not sure. Like, it's Yamaha.
Do you think
I have a feeling? I have a gut feeling Yamaha is doing something radical with the bike for 2025.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me, because now, just even with all their street bikes and getting rid of the R1s and changing that whole thing,
I think they're going to do something rad. There's something in the works, and then in 27.
Yeah,
they've all got to go to 850cc as well.
Right.
The format, so the engine size.
Engine size smaller, narrower bike.
It's not going to be that much narrower. We're talking like 25, 30 millimeters narrower.
Some minor changes.
Yeah.
Do you think is there going to be a lot of changes with the aero coming up?
Yeah. They're gonna delete some of the aero gadgets on the bikes. Yeah. Definitely going to do that. I'm not a big fan of the aero.
I'm not either.
No.
I'm old school. I think we're both.
Some of it's good. I think but those big wings on the back of the tail, I'm not sure about that. You know.
I'm not a big fan of the big wing on the front. Like
the big wing in the front makes sense, because when you're doing 300k, I've heard Simon Crafar talk about this when he rode the Ducati MotoGP bike last year at Mugello.
Right.
He was amazed at how stable it was at 340k, 320k.
Right.
And I could see that.
Yeah.
When you're doing that speed and you go over a slight bump in the track, the wheel does fly up.
Yeah.
But at Mugello, at turn 1, the wheel kept down, and that's a key to the aero.
Right.
But as far as the aero on the back of the bikes go, and even the ride height device, I would cancel the ride height device like right now.
Yeah.
I don't like ride height devices. They activate them in the middle of the race, coming out of every corner.
Right.
This year, a couple of riders have forgotten, or not forgotten, but they haven't been able to engage the ride height device in the front, the launch control.
Right. Off the start,
yeah. A couple of riders done that this year,
and
I'm not a fan of that. It's got to go back to old school a bit on that.
Yeah,
take the ride height devices away, dial down some of the aero, and get ready for the CC change of the 850cc.
Right.
The engine tuners, the MotoGP bikes now are so powerful.
Yeah.
That they don't. The onboard computers don't give full power to the rider until 4th gear. 4th gear, that's when they get full power in MotoGP bikes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're going to have to, when they bring in the 850cc rule, you're going to see that change and then you're going to see a lot of really high developments on the induction system on those bikes, on those engines, on the 850, and they're going to dial back that full power restriction until fourth gear, and the engineers now have got from now until 2027 to figure that out, because they're obviously going to build test bikes in the next 12 months.
And that's
test engines anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely some.
And they're going to play with the power curves and that. I also think that they're going to have to do something about having the MotoGP bike a minimum weight.
Okay.
There's going to be, I think there's going to be some kind of minimum weight requirement.
Okay.
For maybe the 20s when the smaller engine comes in, but the smaller engine is minimal in compact size. They're already very small.
Yeah.
But they're going to be a little more compact, and I think it's going to be a factor with, say, the weights of some of the riders fluctuate quite a bit.
Right.
Their physical weight. So they're going to have to, I think, to be fair, a minimum MotoGP bike rider weight requirement. Yeah. Well, that's all I can kind of think of right now, to be honest with you.
Well, it's definitely some interesting things happening in MotoGP, and some exciting things to come with, like you're saying, the aero.
Yeah.
All of those changes.
A lot of riders are going to change. I think the key is Pramac going to decide what bike they're going to run.
Yeah.
In 25,
whether it be Yamaha or Ducati.
Bagnaya's got a 2-year deal with the factory Ducati team.
Yeah.
He needs a teammate. It's going to be Jorge Martin. I'm buying an Aprilia. Just warning you.
I kind of agree. I can't see Enea Bastianini hanging onto his seat.
No.
The way
he's a good rider. I like him as a rider.
But the way Jorge's been performing lately,
he had a rough race. He had a rough race. Just
Yeah.
Yeah. He got a couple of long lap penalties and for stuff.
Enea.
Enea Bastianini.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. He still did okay though.
Yeah.
He came up.
Do we want to talk about anyone at the back of the pack that comes to your mind off the top of your head?
Quartararo crashed. That was a big disappointment for the French fans.
Yeah, that was too bad.
Yeah. I think Pedro Acosta is worth a mention because that's his first mistake. Big mistake.
Yeah, it was a big one.
In his rookie year.
And it was coming, but, it's good to see it's out of the way now.
Yeah.
I'm glad he didn't take anyone out.
But if you think
he made it through that little slice.
He made it through in between a couple of riders, but I think that's experience, because full tank of gas, the temperature wasn't that great. It was
right. It was pretty cold.
Again, the narrow tire temperature window has caught him out.
Yeah. When
he's gone in too hot, instead of warming the tires up maybe another 2 laps, then he can maybe make some moves.
Yeah.
But I've got a problem with the way the tires are right now.
Right.
The tire manufacturer Michelin have not and provided, or any sign of providing a tire for the low temperature swings that we get in climate change right now.
Yeah, the low end.
And it's happening more and more.
Right.
I'm seeing. The temperature swing on the weekend.
Let's switch the conversation over to some Formula One.
Formula One.
I've been a little busy with my life lately, so I've missed some of the races.
Okay.
But I know you've caught up.
Watch Miami.
Yeah.
Watch Miami. A little goofy. Little kind of celebrity type, track.
Yeah, but that's Miami, man. That's
a little goofy. The layouts, it's a street circuit.
Yeah.
The cars just don't like those surfaces. There was like a little kind of chicane S-bends situation. Yeah. Looked like it was under an overpass.
Right.
And they put like an orange plastic cone to stop discourage the drivers from going straight.
Right.
Of course, Max Verstappen goes straight, hits the cone, bam, cone's gone. And then it's like, this is Formula One and we're doing these type of races, but it's all about the money, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but
that was goofy. But then Lando Norris ended up winning the race.
Yeah, how about Lando?
Lando,
right on, Lando, my man. That's awesome. Good for him.
He had a little bit of luck with the safety car and his pit, and he did good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Max Verstappen couldn't catch him. That was what I think McLaren enjoyed about that race, because even though Lando made it the undercut to the front with a few laps to go, Max Verstappen didn't really gain anything on him.
Right.
So it really gave McLaren, I think, a big boost in confidence.
I think so too. They've really been coming on strong now in the last couple of races, and they're starting to show themselves that they're definitely a contender to make some more wins.
Yeah,
this year.
they're doing some good work back at the factory.
Yeah,
definitely back in the factory.
Very cool to see.
And then I watched the Formula One Imola race this weekend.
That was yesterday.
This weekend, yesterday.
Right.
Watched that. It was the 30th anniversary of the fatal Ayrton Senna crash in '94.
I did see a little bit of Sebastian Vettel driving his car around.
Yeah, Sebastian Vettel, he's retired Formula One driver.
Right.
He owns one of Senna's McLaren.
Right.
It's actually the FP48.
Right.
He owns that.
I didn't see the race, but I saw a little clip on social media about when he at the end when he finished his lap or whatever, and he pulled the flags out and draped them over the car, and he bowed down and gave some homage, I guess, to Senna and Roland Ratzenberger, who both sadly lost their lives on
that weekend. I watched that live,
and that was
back in the day. Yeah,
it even chokes me up right now. Like, I can just imagine, like, and Seb was like crying tears, man. It's such a moving moment for him.
Oh yeah, no, I suppose like the Senna family were there. What was left of them.
Yeah.
I think his sister was there.
Very cool. Imola. Very cool.
Tamburello that he crashed at.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
94.
Any other significant moments from the race yesterday?
Yeah, I think there was. Imola is a crazy fast track.
Right.
Over the years, back when Senna crashed in '94, Tamburello corner was like a full out left-hander, top gear, flat out, and of course, with the Williams of the time, they were running so close to the track.
Tarmac,
people were saying that what caused that was that the Williams, he was going so fast flat out, the downforce pushed the car down so much that it contacted the track a couple of times, took the weight off the tires, and he went straight into the wall. And that's what they're saying.
Who knows?
I can't argue with that. Yeah. I think there was something there to do with that.
We'll never know, sadly.
But they instead of it being a flat out left-hander, they did the small chicane now.
Yeah.
They changed that. They put another chicane in, I think, on another huge straightaway in Imola over the years.
Yeah.
Because the bikes used to go through Imola too,
Right.
The bikes did. But it became too dangerous for the bikes. The walls are too close.
Yeah.
It's not enough runoff area. So it doesn't pass FIM bike motorcycle track rules now.
Right.
I think, but I'm not sure I think World Superbikes still go there, but the MotoGP bikes won't even touch it.
Right.
Yeah. But I've seen a good few World Superbike races at Imola, really good ones.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Since you mentioned World Superbike, I want to throw this into our little conversation. They're going out on a limb. They've taken a big step this year, and just last week they launched the Women's World Circuit Racing. What do you think of that?
I think it's fantastic. I think it's
isn't that awesome?
Yeah, I think it's a long time coming.
I'm a huge supporter of women in the sport. Anything to do with motorbikes, especially racing. I think it's so cool, and I like to see that side of the world superbike series grow and gain some fans, and I think it's pretty cool.
There was a woman rider in MotoGP's circuit,
right? Yeah,
in the smaller bikes in the 125. Then it went it was recent. It was when 125. Just before 125 went to 250.
Okay.
And Maria Herrera, a Spanish lady rider, she was in that full time.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think she's retired. She's not retired, but she's riding other bikes now in World Super Sport, I think.
Okay.
But there's been women riders around.
Right. I know
over the
there-
years.
I know
Josh
there-
Herrin's wife, she was a lady superbike
Right.
rider.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think there was a lady MotoGP rider back when it was 500cc, wasn't there?
I think there might have been, yeah.
I think there was.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember reading something
Yeah.
about her off the top of my head. I can't remember her name. My apologies.
Yeah.
But anyhow, getting back.
I
to
think
the
it's a good
whole-
idea. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a long time coming, but motorsport is all about money at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Yeah.
And you were asking me the other day, like, why isn't there more different riders from different countries? And you mentioned the United States.
Yeah.
Well, back when Kenny Roberts and Freddie Spencer, Kevin Swans, John Kaczynski, when they all were in Europe, back in the 70s and
Gardner.
80s, no, in Australia,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Not American.
Yeah, American. Yeah.
Talking about Americans now,
Yeah.
they lived their lives on the track, like around the flat tracking in the United States.
Right.
That was the way they made money.
Right.
They got paid good money in the flat track series,
Yeah.
and that was their entry level into handling a bike or knowing how to handle a bike or learning.
Eric and Ben Bostrom.
They did it. They all did it.
Yeah.
But as time goes on,
Yeah.
and the next generation comes in, nobody was going into the motorcycle racing business in America.
Right.
They just weren't. They were trying to.
Yeah.
Like Ben Spies, I want to say Ben Spies comes to mind. Like, hell of a rider.
Yeah.
Won a lot of AMA championships. Went on to win, I think, 2 or 3 World Superbike championships with, and then went to MotoGP.
MotoGP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then long story short, he got hurt.
Yeah.
One of the last races I was at in Indianapolis, when he got hurt in 2010, I think it was, and he never came back.
Sadly, yeah.
But he's in the motorcycle business now.
Yeah.
He's still tied to
Sure.
some riders.
It's surprising how
that.
many guys have been, around.
And he's tied to a lady rider too. So I'm not sure. I've forgotten their name, but
Right.
but he's
Are there-
helping. He's mentoring a lady
I know.
superbike rider.
I know, kind of through some of my
Ben
connections, there is an American rider, Melanie Dobbs, that's racing in that World Women's Circuit
That
racing.
might be her I'm
And
talking about.
I almost wonder if Ben
It might be. It might
might
be.
somehow be tied to her.
Yeah.
I don't know, but if you guys know, throw us a comment down below. If you're still watching, I appreciate it. So anything else more about the Formula One yesterday?
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
We got sidetracked back into MotoGP.
it was a one-stop strategy. Like Imola is a crazy track.
Yeah.
29 seconds to change a tire.
Yeah.
By the time they go into the pits and out.
What?
So it's a one-stop strategy, and all the teams did one stop. But the second stop, Max Verstappen's tires
Right.
stopped working, and Lando Norris was catching up like half a second a lap.
Is that
with
because of
about 5 laps to go?
because of the temperatures, or just
No, it was tire degradation.
Yeah. They just fell off.
His hard tires. Verstappen's car wasn't working well in the hard tires, and Lando did a great job of tire management. I think the McLaren is easier on the tires than the Red Bull, depending on the temperature.
Right.
But Imola wasn't super hot either.
Right.
So
Yeah.
temperature might have been an issue there as well.
Who were the podium finishers?
It was Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and third was Leclerc. Yeah.
So good.
Ferrari were happy.
Good on Ferrari. Yeah, for sure.
Sainz did a decent race.
Yeah.
But he just didn't arrive behind the right. He didn't do the undercut on the pit stop. He got stuck in traffic. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So
gotcha. Yeah.
Well,
that's it for.
Well, I want you to tell us about your new bike. You're new to you bike.
Yeah, new to me. It's a 1999 Honda CBR 900 RR. It's the SC33 version, and I've had it for about a month now, and I love it, man. It's so much fun.
Needs a bit of work though.
It does. Yeah, it's got some bumps and bruises, and I had the original 1992 Fireblade when it came out, the SC28 version. I freaking loved that thing, man. There was nothing in the world like it. And sadly, I sold it way back in the 90s. I got away from motorbikes for many years. And recently, a couple of years ago, I got back into them, and now I've kind of gone nuts a little bit. In the last year or two, I've bought 4 bikes. This is one of them, and I absolutely love it. It's a fun bike to ride. I'll let you take her out for a cruise.
We should do like a feature on this bike, just to bring it back to
do that
to show quality.
Why don't you tell us a little about your bike?
Well, my Ducati I bought brand new in 2021. It was a dream for me to get one of these bikes. The V4. I waited a long time for the V4.
Yep.
I was a big fan of the 2008 Desmosedici.
Yep.
But not a big fan of the $100,000 Canadian price on
that goes with it.
But finally they made it into production, and these bikes came out in 2018.
Yep.
And I just before I'm too old, I just gotta try one.
Dude,
I love it.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The V4S.
Yeah, it is my Ferrari. So
yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm pretty happy with it. Overall, I'm pretty happy. There's some modifications I do want to do to it. I want to see if I can address the exhaust heat issue that these bikes have. Performance, great.
Yeah.
I love the balance. I love the V4.
Yeah.
The cons. There's cons.
Right.
I don't know what the Italian engineers were thinking when they put the exhaust underneath your leg.
The way it is.
The way they bend the back cylinders around and shoot them down underneath the swing arm. They had the exhaust right in the 2008 bike.
Right.
That exhaust made sense, where the top 2 cylinders came up the top and the front 2 cylinders came at the bottom. And that was the GP setup in 2000. That was Casey Stoner's bike.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and now you get off the bike a little barbecued.
It depends what the ambient temperature.
Drumstick.
No, yeah, your leg, my leg, the right leg, yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on the ambient temperature. On a day like today, we're kind of in and out the man cave. Like, it's a beautiful day out there. It's about 15 degrees.
Yeah.
That would be a good day to ride this bike. But I don't ride this when it's 30 degrees. It's too hot.
Yeah.
The engine's too hot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, we should go for a rip. Let's take them out for a cruise. I want to say thanks, you guys, again. Anyone who's tuning in, anyone who's watching, much appreciated. Let's give a little spotlight on the Hayabusa here we got on the table. One of Dave's little toys. Tell us about this thing.
This is looks like a 1999 Hayabusa, but this is our mic.
Yeah, our mic is hidden in behind here, but I thought it was a good kind of prop to throw up there and hide the mic, and it kind of is a nice little feature, like little trinket.
Change the bikes up a little bit.
So what cc was the Hayabusa?
It was 1300.
1300, yeah.
Beautiful one of the fastest bikes when it came out.
I think it was, if I remember right, it was a big battle between Honda, the Blackbird XX, and the Suzuki Hayabusa, for them both top speed. And I think the Hayabusa in the end.
Well, the Hayabusa for 5 minutes was the fastest bike.
Didn't they have
until the 2000 ZX12 came out? Kawasaki, come on, man.
Did they?
It was fast for 5 minutes, and then the ZX is faster.
Did they not back then come up with some kind of a truce to we can't make bikes any faster?
Well, they did.
They did.
Yeah. They did, yeah. But some lucky owners got the unrestricted 2000 ZX12. I did. And it's over there.
That's all for another episode, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Come back and join us again next MotoGP. We'll have another episode up
pretty soon.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.